presentation.
Okay, and I want to make people applaud you.
I don't hear the applause, but I hope it's good and nice. Anyhow, so Magnet. Probably at this point, Magnet is the elephant in the room. Why so? We've been already active, just a second for the presentation to load, for a number of years. Product has made already over 4 million ever since its release. But of course, we keep having our struggles. And even though we've achieved our first 5 milestones rather fast and we continued rather ambitiously, we still continue facing some struggles. Therefore, in this presentation, of course, I'll voice our results for the goal that we set after the last pitch days, as well as voice our plan on how we can continue to work. We believe that this quarter is the most important quarter for us. Why? Because if we don't manage to actually do what we set in place for us for this quarter, it is a very concerning. It will be a very concerning event. So first of all, what is Magnet? Let me just remind you, and of course, voice our North Star. So Magnet, if you whoever remembers, is a personality-first dating app where everybody sees each other by a cartoon avatar. And you only get to unlock your real photo after you communicate in a short free chat with another user. If both of you like the communication that you had, you press basically bump, which means like in our app, and you reveal each other's photographs. The North Star for our product has been this. We haven't really changed it much. We want to create a deeply engaging 2D virtual world with chat gamification. We want it to be valued for primarily the anonymity and freedom that it gives to its user is in communications. We want it to be sold as a product or made public through an IPO in the future. Mainly, we're focusing on USA for now, but we see it evolve in regions such as Japan and South Korea, possibly other Asian countries, and valued at least $2 billion. This is what we see Magnet as being in the next 1 to 2 years. So what was the set goal after the last pitch days? After the last pitch days, we agreed that we should aim to reach 500,000 revenue per month with this much expected income per month, which is 100K. And of course, granted that we have stable positive unit economics and with a certain cap on the amount of money that we're allowed to spend. We came close to this goal. Unfortunately, we did not reach it. There were other struggles that popped up on the way, and I'm going to voice, of course, these struggles right now. So let's move on to our failures, and of course, we'll discuss the lessons that we learned and what radical action plan we're putting into play right now to help us save our product. So first of all, as soon as we finished up our pitch days last time, we started having a situation that continued for a number of months, which is a decrease in our store rating. It resulted in us investing time into a series of store rating experiments, which were targeted, of course, to raise the store rating, but eventually ended up in trying to at least balance it out on some levels, because at some certain points, we were losing points so fast that it was becoming really concerning. So, for example, in iOS right now, we have a rating of 3.94, and at Google Play, we are hanging around 3, and we, of course, are just happy to have fixed ourselves at that level for now, and thinking right now, of course, how to improve that rating. So we had reputational problems in the end of last year. Then we had much more concerning issue. We had 2 warning letters from the App Store, again, having to do with our reputation. And the second letter, even though App Store confirmed our plan of improvement according to what they've outlined to us, they said, okay, yeah, go ahead, improve your app and build, upload a new build. The automated system still caused our app to be removed, and that was during the holiday season. So we had to wait for at least 2-3 weeks, writing to them again and again until the app got eventually restored with all the new changes that we uploaded to the App Store. Then we had another risk flag, which was to our best source of traffic in marketing. This was the cheapest channel. And of course, um, because we had this risk flag due to the content that was posted there, we lost the benefit of the low CPA that we were getting from this platform. Nowadays, of course, we are back in the App Store, and the risk flag situation, we pretty much dealt with it. We're close to getting to our previous levels on TikTok. But these were definitely problems that we faced that slowed us down. Then, in my eyes, I think in retrospective, looking back at the roadmap, we should have focused less on non-key features. Just because we promised to deploy them, perhaps this was not the right moment in time to focus on things like status gamification, a lot of input into things like events like TechCrunch Disrupt, where we prepared a lot of very interesting features for the users on that event and other things. And we should have focused really primarily on the features that really affected our key metrics. We had everything for us during that last quarter in 2023 was focused around returning Facebook. If you remember, Facebook was collapsed for most of our products in the end of last year. And we managed to finally return it through a Georgian agency, but we expected the process to be much faster. And we had a 1-month delay due to communication with the agency, of course, due to setting up all the legal stuff and everything, until we actually started already the new campaigns, refresh campaigns in Facebook. Now they're up and running, so that's good news. And of course, we had a lot of experiments that were focusing on LTV. We did increase it overall, the average from then to now, but the increase was not as much as we expected it to be. We expected it to reach at least 120. We reached $97 LTV, which is a 13% increase. It continues now, the increase. We're, of course, working very hard. This is our main key metric that defines whether the product lives or not. But the progress so far until now, it could have been better. But we did, however, make a lot of progress. So, for example, we did finish the feature that we always promised in the last pitch days and the pitch days before that, which is status gamification. We also determined that about 12% of our users actually achieved the first status, and a few even continued to reach the second. Some reached the very top, and then understood that the full mechanism is not really complete yet. There's no prizes, and of course, that's really demotivating. But we released it. We did reincarnate the Facebook marketing channel. Now we see really great metrics there. The LTV is $111 and growing. The CPA is, as we predicted, historically, it's around $80. So those metrics are improving, and that's showing us, of course, really good results. We have continuously those VIPs are coming back to us that we had on the product when our metrics looked good in 2022. And they are, of course, not young. They are around 40 plus, but those were the VIPs that gave us good metrics in the past. We integrated with CRM. This was a decision to really prioritize for development, but I'm glad we did it because since we did that, 2 out of 3 of the experiments that we conducted with CRM were successful. 4 more are now in progress, and it's really contributed to increasing retention on our product. We also increased our development speed by 2 times in December. We're continuing this increase. What did we do? Basically, in December, we had a meeting with Dmitry in Dubai, and we had a lot of interesting constructive criticism, which led us to improve our process of writing specifications, grooming them, deploying releases, and it actually contributed to us releasing a lot more features, testing a lot more things, deploying a lot more small experiments, and generally working with development faster. We started a process called Magnet Insight Generation Loop, not to point the finger at the clouds and just guess. This process involves focusing on the key metrics of the product, let's say ARPPU, retention of paying users, and renewals of membership, and breaking those key metrics down into sub-metrics that could affect the general key metric, making historical analysis on the data that we already have to see what levers we have in order to actually improve those key metrics and make data-driven experiments. It's a very interesting process. I could talk about it more, but of course we don't have that much time. We did draft 17 experiments that target our key metrics from this process, and those are all either analytically proven to really make a change in the future, or we have a really high confidence in them. Then we also increased the share of real users chatting limitlessly for subscription. Sorry, guys. And we replaced a very good experiment. We replaced the 6-month membership plan with a 3-month membership plan, where we've seen great results because less people subscribed to the 1-month membership and more people shifted to the 3-month plan, which was more expensive. So we had more subscriptions on the 3-month plan, which was more expensive. Metrics. So we achieved revenue of $429,000 in December. We had positive expected income on weeks 43 and 45, and we actually managed to reduce the operator costs. I think the main factor contributing to this balance in expected income for us from 24% to 15%. And we increased our retention, mainly thanks to our CRM practices, overall from 36 to 40 on day 1, from 18 to 22 on day 3, and from 8 to 12% on day 7. So what lessons we learned? Again, from the experiments that we conducted in these months of 2023, the last months of 2023. So first of all, increasing the dollar prices is not the solution to increase Magnet's LTV. We tried that experiment. It didn't work well. We tried increasing automatic requests, making them more dramatic. That also didn't change any CR to chat. So we left that as something we're not going to do again. We did something that Duolingo did. We studied their experiment about retention. We tried that on our app, but because of the lack of quality of development of that experiment, we could see that users were interested in it, but the dynamics, the statistics that we saw did not show us the interest. But the reason we know people were interested in it is because we had so many requests from users and customer support telling us, hey, I'm using this feature, but I'm not getting my ever-increasing bulbs that I visit the app every day. So we plan to return to improve our retention through this experiment in the future. And then, of course, the crucial situation with the App Store, we have to be extra attentive to user reviews, especially on the App Store. We actually started the process week by week. We analyze the reviews, see the before state, see the now state to make sure we don't have the same problem again. I believe if we have the same problem again, it will be the final step. They will probably delete us, and we should be really careful. So we added a paywall after registration. Unfortunately, due to our falling reputation, this paywall also negatively affected our reviews. So given that it didn't provide significant improvements, we decided to roll it back in the end. And we also, in desperation, of course, tried to go against our concept. Because everybody's hidden behind an avatar, we started showing a snippet of photos to users and see how they actually react. Maybe it's important for people to see the appearance of a person and not just their cartoon avatar. But that actually decreased the CR2 of customers. So we understood that our main concept, avatars, it does work. We need to focus on that and not to show the snippet of photos. So that was a good lesson learned. What is the current plan? And this is why it's going to work as well. So we plan to roll out experiment AI responses in free chats. This is going to cover a lot, up to 50% actually, of the expenses that we have on the operators right now, which is, again, the cost that is unfortunately forcing us out of expected income. Once we roll out this experiment, we will be in expected income. And we are rolling it out already within a week or so. And that's, of course, a very promising thing. We want to also track the LTV LPC from the experiment that we just rolled out called the Once banner on Magnet. This is Dmitri's idea. Basically, we're advertising once within Magnet, and whatever customers click on the banner and get transferred to Once and download Once and start using that, of course, may generate higher spendings, may not have just spent money with Magnet, but also spend some money on Once, maybe even more money on Once, and that combined LTV will be greater. It's similar to the process of core registration, of course, as it's done on the core products. As basically I tried to say with this slide. So we want to track LTV growth after another radical rollout that we are doing right now, probably this Friday, I mean today even, or Monday. We are rolling out anonymous mode fully on all customers, old, new, everyone. And we're doing it in a super simplified way thanks to the brainstorming powers of Daria Prokopieva and Ilya Zaitsev. We brainstormed how to do it in a super easy way. Basically, nowadays, there will be no unlocking photos at all. If you like each other, you press bump. The only thing that opens up for you is the possibility to exchange photos. If you want to see how you look like, you can send the other person your photo. This is a concept, again, that doesn't just fly in from nowhere. It's from a competitor that I've analyzed called Sex Stories, and they have a very similar functionality. Their avatars are always closed, and the main functionalities there is the photo exchange. In this way, people might care more about how their avatar looks like, since it's always going to be there, and they might care more about the photos that they send and sending photos as a feature in general. So anonymity is our case, as I said, given the experiment about revealing photos did not show much potential. Then, of course, we want to increase the percentage share of users who sext. In our feature Daily Buzz, this is data-driven, data-proven. We see that sext chats, of course, produce the highest CR, conversion rate to payments, and so on and so forth. So we also have an interesting discovery. We had an animator an operator that went against our policy and started initiating sext conversations by herself. And she had incredible metrics of the customers that she talked to, an ARPPU of like 120 or something, a CR rate of around 30%. It was beautiful to see. And this insight through this magnet insight generation process that we established helped us to develop a series of experiments to see how we can increase this level of sexting, yet keep it, of course, as politically correct as possible. So, yeah. Then we also want to continue increasing the amount of active push notifications and improving them through CRM, as we see this practice is really effective for us. Sorry, guys. Users with improved and active push notifications retain better, and this is proven by data again. So we also have 3 central experiments to increase our LTV. We've talked about hot topic chats in the past. We just set it back because that was not the main concern. But if we manage to lead people into chats, into individual chats, to return to them again and again and again through interesting questions, we believe that that will work. And they will spend more money in these individual chats. We also have things like photo challenges and game zone topic filters. So I'll explain what these are right now. Photo challenges will prompt users now in this new anonymous mode to actually send photos not of just themselves, but for example, of their breakfast, dinner, a challenge of sending where you are right now, things like that, to basically motivate them to exchange photos more and use that functionality more. And the topic of the game zone experiment is where we are going to indicate to the user that he can select users in his game zone, in his selection of users, by what topic he wants to chat about. So for example, today I want to chat about how to fix my, I don't know, car, right? And I can put that into the topic box, and the next renewal refresh of my game zone will have users who are seeking the same information or wanting to chat about the same topic, and so on and so forth. What do we forecast? So in January, we forecast around 470,000. January just passed. February will be a month where we will see $580,000 of revenue with expected income balanced out. We will no longer have negative expected income. And March will be our magical month where we will see the revenue of $630,000 and an expected income of at least $65,000. Positive cash flow, of course, is the main burning questions after a few years of existence right now, and we believe it will, realistically happen in October. Of course, we could ambitiously say earlier. And the investment we need to achieve this in this quarter in order for us to actually prove that Magnet can survive is this much, $312,198. We have one alternative radical pivot that I would like to show you as well. Because we're at this stage, of course, radical experiments are very important too. We can't just make constantly data-driven decisions, even though this is logical. This is the radical pivot we've thought up. A new game zone, new avatars, they do look like you, yes, but this is a bit of a different take on Magnet. It's still not you. This is basically some of the members of our team.
Only 1 minute left.
Yeah, I'm finishing up. Thank you very much. This would work very similar in the way that Once works, in the sense that there will be likes, there will be no free communication, and there will be focus on sexting. Well, I know that Once doesn't focus on that, but we will have focus on sexting. There will not be any free chats. We'll just give some, for example, bolts at the start so the user can choose who he wants to speak to. And there will be this likes mechanism where you can like a user in order to start to communicate with them. And of course, there's a possibility of paying or subscribing to see the real photo. So that's the pivot we're thinking to implement if it comes down to this. Thank you very much for watching the presentation. I'd like to just, as a final word, extend my greatest thank you to the team. The team has been really fighting the battle and listening attentively and doing everything they can and everything in their power to make sure that we can show the greatest dynamics we can possibly show. Thank you very much, guys, for listening to me, for listening to the presentation. And of course, if you have any questions, please let me know.